Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome, my lovely audience. Today we are going to be doing something a bit different and something that I hope to start doing every week, if possible, which is doing Warhammer painting. It's something I've always enjoyed, and I figured I should take the time and effort to make that something that I engage with the rest of my audience with. So, for today, I have a Skitarii Marshall. Hold on, let me hold that up to the left camera light better. There we go, Skitarii Marshall. I got this in Ireland, actually, when I was on a trip not too long ago. So I figured I should go ahead and start assembling it, and what better way to do that than to do it on stream in front of everyone. So my current plans for this guy, once he's assembled, is because I got him in Ireland as a kind of souvenir, because I'm not really much of a souvenir person. I figured we should paint him somewhat in the stead of, like, kind of the Irish colors. A bit. Not too much, obviously, because then that'd just be weird. But, or weird at least in the case of making it stand out with the rest of my guys. But I figure for this guy, this is what we should do. So, I'm hoping both my glues still work, because otherwise I might need to... It's been a hot minute. Otherwise, I'm going to need to grab different stuff. Well, gotta be careful about leaning in there. My hair starts to peek out. Hey Mags, how you doing? Yes, Flesh Tuber stream, doing painting and assembling of Warhammer minis today. And I can't exactly do that digitally. We're just gonna take snips. And apologies for the rough kind of camera angle. It's the best I can do with my current supplies. But hopefully the lighting is good, because that is the one thing that I do have a lot of, do have stuff of, is good lighting. Do have a good lighting thing. It just doesn't quite have a cable long enough to connect to my computer and to... Wait, actually... Oh, never mind. Next time there will be improvements. Next time there will be improvements, I promise that. Yeah, so we're just going to want to get this guy out of here. So the first three bits, 1, 2, and the chest bit, number 3. Do 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 do. Where did I put my files? My files are here. I want to just file down the tiny little nubs, like that one right there. I don't know if you guys can see that much. Got like that little nub right there. Just gonna want to file that down some. The assembling bit is probably going to be the most boring here, because of the fact that the camera isn't super great. And again, the angle is odd. But should still be able to get an idea of what's going on. Right now we're wanting to file off all the little sprue bits that are sticking on. Currently resting because pain chest hasn't gone away, but don't know the term for visual ASMR. Oh, thanks. I don't know if there's a term for visual ASMR either. Yeah. This setup is kind of one I just threw together in like the last night really quick to see if it would work, because my university's campus decided that people in single suites no longer have a right to use a table, and so we have to use these tiny 2-shelf desks instead. Whoop, drop the piece. There we go. That's that one done, more or less. Flatten out the bottom of this guy right here. See, now get a little bit of back right here, the butt. Clean that up. Might have a rubber butt, but we still want it to be nice and smooth. And the leg is probably good. The arm, the main torso area. Is definitely one that we want to be smooth, but fortunately it seems like it clipped pretty alright. Okay, so then let's see. Please let the glue work. Yeah, that's why I'm kneeling down, because I don't have a table to sit at. So this goes here like this. Yeah, so we're going to want to glue the... Please tell me the glue's working. I should have checked this last night, but I didn't. I have 2 bottles. Surely one of them will work, right? Okay, so there is liquid glue in this one. I just need to get it to come on out. Just flip this around. See, the trick with plastic glue is plastic glue is its own solvent. So if it gets stuck sometimes, all you need to do is just flip the tip around and then try doing it from there. Yep, and there we go. So we just gotta carefully... Oh no, wait, that was just the residual stuff from before. No, wait, it's coming on out again. Okay, fantastic. We're gonna want to set that there and carefully get the edges. And then throw this on. Also get this little bit right here. And that's the... Come on, you can fit in there. There we go. And then just hold that all together for a second. And that is the main torso area complete. And now for the front section of the coat. The thing I really love about Skitarii models, but also makes them just a pain to paint, is they have so many of these teeny tiny little details. Let's be careful. This proceeds to press the glue harder. Yeah, well, sometimes you just have to press the glue in order to make sure it comes out. That'd just be how it is. Yeah, they have all these teeny tiny details that make them so cool to look at, but also such a big old pain to paint sometimes. Especially on these tinier dudes. It's all these little fiddly bits that may or may not break off. If you touch them wrong. Okay, so this goes on like... How does this go on? Oh, I see. So the clock goes there. Okay. The coat edge goes there, the clock goes there. Got it, got it, got it. Want to put some glue on the... Put some glue in the area where the clock goes. Glue where the clock goes. Come on. I know you're in there, I can hear you. There we go. And some along the edge of the coat. And we just throw that on like so. Not perfectly lining up, but then again, I am no master at the craft, merely someone who's done it a bit. Just throw some more glue onto the edge there, right here where there isn't really much. carefully there. Hold that for a minute. Let that stick for a minute while we get out the other next few pieces, which is the arms and the head. Thought the pieces would be sensitive in a sense. They seem harder to cut and maintain. I'm not entirely certain what you mean by that. These are plastic pieces, so they're not... So I just got these snips to get them out of the thing, like this. Then I just file them down a little in the places that they need to be filed down. Which on this one doesn't really seem to be anywhere. It actually looks pretty good, all things considered, except for, like, maybe right here. And the headpiece. Oop. Oop. Headpiece is definitely one that we're going to want to file down a bit right there, so that way it fits into the slot nice and neat. And finally, the other arm piece. A pistol. I actually don't remember what type of pistol this is supposed to be. Oh, you seem to be having trouble cutting? Not really. That's just kind of the way it is, because the plastic has to be thick enough to keep it from just breaking free during, like, transport and stuff. But it's still, like, kind of easily... It's just that my snippers are bad. I've had them for a while. They don't really... Like, you can see, like, there's supposed to be another bit to this bit right here. So, like, you have like a little bit that, like, holds against it. There's supposed to be another one of those that's supposed to spring against it to give it better force. But instead, it's gone, so it's a weaker pair than otherwise. And actually, give me a second to test something. Hold on, is that better for the lighting? That seems better for the lighting. A more warm tone. Okay, so and if that is worse, let me know. I have 3 light settings on this thing. I can vary them as needed. So glue the arms in. That one goes there. Kinda better? Okay. Hold on, can I... Okay, then... This is the last of the 3. This one's a mix of the first one and the second one. Is that better or worse? Still experimenting because, you know, I haven't done one of these streams before. This setup. This one isn't quite as warm, but it's still warmer than the first. I feel like. Because the first is just bright white light. The second is reddish white light. This one's kind of like a mix of the two. And that's the other thing is you have to have good lighting for painting. There's a delay, but yeah, it's good. Cool, thanks. Good to know. So use this light setting for painting streams. And now he has his head. And now we just do the backpack. Bada bing, bada boom. 1, 2. See, now we're going to want to file down this bit right there because that is definitely a lot of extra splash on it right there. And we want to connect nice and smooth to the rest of the backpack. Come on. Just file on down there. The other files. This file's a bit rougher. Less delicate, but it gets the job done. Is there a provided color scheme? Oh, there's like a... So, like, this is what, like, the standard, like, Skitarii Marshall for, like, Mars would be in the setting. But you can do whatever you want, and it's wholeheartedly encouraged to have your own guys, quote-unquote, and just paint them whatever. And so this guy isn't even going to blend in with the rest of my army, because the rest of my army is, like, for the Skitarii, is, like, a brown and yellow mix that I did to match, like, a sort of ruined desert sort of thing. But because I got this guy as a souvenir while traveling in Ireland, because I don't like getting, like, normal souvenir stuff, I'm going to paint this guy in kind of more, like, green and orange colors, rather than the colors of the rest of my army. So the answer is yes, I'm going to paint it however I like. But there are like, if you want to do like one of the canon groups, because there are like canon factions in the game, because the game has lore. If you want to do like one of those, then you kind of want to use the provided color scheme, the color schemes that they provide for what that faction actually uses. But in this case, I'm not doing that, so I get to paint however I want. Come on, it doesn't want to settle in right. Gotta hold it there. Yep, there we go. And then just a little bit of glue on the back. I said a little bit of glue on the back. There we go. Backpack on. Little bit of glue on the feet. Right. Oh. Okay, cool. Nothing broke off. It looks like the glue attached pretty good. Glue him on there. Base. Put the arm back up because it's not quite there yet. Let that sit, and we'll let that sit for a minute while we get out the paints that we're going to use for today. Really? And the backpack doesn't want to stay on too. Okay. Okay, I see how it is. I see how it is. So the backpack back on. Throw the arm in. Glue. Glue. Because the thing about the plastic glue is it's not actually glue. It's kind of more like a cement thing. It's more like actual like cement in a way, with the way it works. It actually melts the plastic together. So it's not actually glue that sticks things together. It's like full-on chemical reaction. Yeah. It's pretty neat stuff, but you got to be careful with it because, you know, if you just mess around with it and throw it on willy-nilly, then you're going to get things stuck together that you don't want them to be stuck together. Okay, so while we're letting that set for a minute, see, we're going to want Lead Belcher. That's Iron Warriors. We want Lead Belcher, which is so. I'm using the proprietary paints. So they all have like names based on things from the lore, but basically just want some light silver. Light green or dark green? Dark green. And some orange. Should be the 3 base colors. Along with some... Do I want to do copper, brass, or bronze? Copper, brass, or bronze for the main body? Well, with this squig orange... Not the copper. Copper is a bit too bright for that. We'll take the brass. Gotta shake up the paints really nice and good. That way they work well. Please tell me that my silver is actually like working. It hasn't just congealed into one solid mass, because that's what it kind of looks like. Oh well, I always have the other silver, so... Plus I kind of need to buy a new one of these anyways sooner or later. Shake up the green. And shake up the orange. Yoke. And now place the guy on the mini holder. Like so. And now we have a nice little thing to just hold it while we paint. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all the silvery bits. Well, actually, nope. There's something more important we have to do before we get all the silvery bits and everything else. We need to paint the base of the model in brown. The black bit, we're going to paint that whole thing brown. And that's for a special reason that you'll find out later. So let's see, we're going to want the nice layer paint. That. We're gonna need a decent sized paintbrush for that one. Come on. Take some of that. Put it on the palette. Water it down. And then just start going at it. Now, I realize this is where the setup definitely falls apart. Painting, because you can't really even see the stuff at the moment. So I'll try to do things closer to the light, so you can like see I'm putting brown on the base, kind of, hopefully. Now the reason we're putting brown on the base is because later on we're going to add some texture to it, and in order for the texture to stick on and not just flake off, it needs like paint below it to stay nice and firm for it to bind to and stick onto. So if it was just the regular black base, then it would fall right off. So just add some more water. And I just realized I don't have any paper towels to wipe off the excess paint on. Or napkins, for that matter. That's going to make this tricky. But improvisation is... Or wait. I know what I can do. First and foremost, we want to just Clean that off. Use the brush soap. Brush soap, get it. If you use paintbrushes, like real paintbrushes, get brush soap. The stuff keep your brushes long for so much longer. Alive for so much longer. Just take the brush to the brush soap. Get it nice and in there. Between the bristles. So, clean it out. Do it on the hand again. Right. Now then, let's grab some toilet paper, I guess, since I don't have any tissues to dry it off with. Yeah, I don't have any paper towels, so... we will be making use of toilet paper to dry off the paintbrushes after each thing. Which is kind of sad. I need to get paper towels soon. Right then. It's where I put the silver. There's the silver. Okay, now that we've got the base done, now we paint the silver. Shake it. Oh. Oops. Fix that some. There we go. Add a little bit of water. Because 2 thin layers is the name of the game. Not 1 thick layer. Then we start just throwing on the silver. Everywhere that we can. Just like that. Tricky to get the under bits because it's hidden behind the coat. But if you just carefully maneuver the thing around it, then you get them. So you probably can't see them from the camera angle. Which again kind of elaborates the whole point that, you know, it's tricky to get certain angles and such. I should see about getting a better camera to do this with at some point, besides just hooking my phone up to my tripod with a light. Clean that off because it got some of the brown on it from the base. Paper. Okay, let's try something real quick. If I go like right here, you all should be able to see it better while I paint like this. Oh, sorry, that's my 9 o'clock start doing things alarm. My bad. Should have turned that off for the day. Now we got silvery body. Silver clock. head. Bibbidi-bop-bop-a-doo. Get it all in there. Get all that silver area. Shoulder plates. Pauldrons, as they are, rather. Shoulder pads, the fancy pauldrons. Get them as well. Gotta get it all nice and up and in there. Get all up in that business. Paint off the head. Paint the little skull thing on the hamlet thing. Like so. Okay. Mix it up a bit more. There we go. Got it. Little metal hand plate thing. Just paint the whole gun. Just do the whole hog gun for now. Worry about separating the rest of the details later. Let's just sit back down so that way I can take a nice hard look at the tiny details. Such. Wait a second. Yeah, I definitely need to buy more silver. It looks like I'm basically out, which is good to know. At least it seems like it'll last me for the rest of this painting session. Afterwards, though, who knows? Gotta get all those nice little details out of there. Okay, come on. Little bits on the backpack. So, we'll make this much better. Actually, we'll just paint it the whole backpack silver and worry about it later. Because that's what I kind of, like, I know the backpacks are supposed to be like leather and stuff, but I just like it more when I do it so that they are a sort of, I just like it more when I envision them as like purely metallic backpacks. Almost purely metallic. Like this. So it's just got a slather on the silver there. I don't think I see any purity seals on this guy, which is a bit unusual. Oh, that's one less thing for me to worry about. Purity seals are a pain to paint properly. If I don't have to do that today, then that's good news to me. Then we'll just paint this bit up. Nice and silver with the servo skull. And then that should be the end of the silver for now. Get this bit here as well. Now, I do want to note, I'm only really planning on doing the basic stages of the painting today. Not really getting the whole thing done for this guy, because that's a lot of time and effort and just specific stuff. But we're going to get the basics. Alright. That's the silver bits done. Not sure if you all can see that. Let me raise him up to the camera. Probably can't see the silver all that well from the gold. Probably can't see the silver all that well from the gray, but we'll change that in a second. Yes, we will. Because next up is the green for the base of the cloak. And believe me, the green is probably going to stand out a whole heck of a lot. So, I'm going to wipe off my hand because it's got silver all over it now. Silver paint. Nope, time for the green. Pop that open. Dark green. Now we're going to want to be careful with this because we don't want it to get it too much on the we don't want it to get onto the silver bits. So it's just very, very, very careful game here. Like so. Now, I'm going to need to two-layer this definitely because the first layer is way too thin. You see like how the paint is just like flat out almost running in a way? That's because the first layer is a thin layer. But that's a good thing at the end of the day. There's a reason why our Lord and Savior Duncan says always use two thin coats, except in very specific scenarios, then use one very thick coat. Most of the time you want to do two thin coats, because you can always go back and add more coats of paint later. Always, always, always. Gotta get that nice little furrow flap right there of the coat. Go. Like that. Get the arm bit right there. So just gotta get that little back bit right there. Behind the neck. And got to get the like parts around the neck area, which is going to be tricky. Skitarii are so small and so many little details to get to. If I wanted to, I could probably spend an eternity just painting one model and getting all of the little bits just right. But that's the reason why there's a difference between table ready and parade ready. In case you don't know, table ready is the term for when a model is painted enough to be good at a table where nobody's going to be looking, taking a close look at it, and it's just going to be there. Like, because the thing about models is sometimes they're goofs and stuff, but you don't really notice them from a distance because they're sitting on a table like 5 feet away from you and 2 feet down when you're playing. So your opponent will never know, and you probably won't even notice when you're in the middle of a game. But parade ready is like if you have your army all displayed and stuff and want people to take nice close looks at them. That's when you want all the extra like little detail to make it pop. Make it for the sake of beauty. But we're just aiming for table ready today. Most of my models I don't go for parade ready most of the time. Okay, second layer of paint, let's go. Go back over all the areas I painted before that looked a bit scuff and hit them up again. Second layer. That way it doesn't look like it's quite so thin or runny. It looks much more consistent. Like so. There we go. Now, I really like the Skitarii. They're probably one of my favorite armies in Warhammer. Or the Adeptus Mechanicus, rather, I should say. I just really, really like the idea of machine men worshipping a machine god, doing all these things. Like, the rite of percussive maintenance is just one of my favorite things. They're hyper-religious people, and then you have the rite of percussive maintenance, which is the sacred right to get machines to work right. And it's literally just say some chant some words, do some magic voodoo stuff, and then hit it with a hammer. Hit the machine with a hammer, you know. Or not hit it with a hammer, but smack it. The same way that we do everything. In this same way we do things now. It's like, the more you can like see how regular tech stuff has evolved into the tech cult that it is now. They're just fantastic. So it's a shame that apparently they just became super OP during the beginning of 9th edition. Apparently. I don't really play the game much anymore. But apparently they became like super OP during 9th edition, and now everybody hates them, which is kind of sad. They're no longer OP, I think. I don't know, I don't keep up with competitive anymore, but for a time they were like broken AF, and everyone hated them. But they got a lot of nerfs, and apparently they still have the hate, though. But that's Games Workshop for you. They can't make a really balanced game. Everything, at the beginning of everything is power crept by the thing they just released. More or less. Okay, now we gotta do the orange for the inside of the cloak. So we want to just carefully get the insides, like so. And then up here as well. It's brighter orange than I thought it was going to be, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. We've committed now. There's no turning back. Bright orange and dark green all the way. That is the color scheme for the day. Gotta get the, like, little bits of the inside of his coat. His collar. That's definitely gonna need 2 layers right there. The inside of his collar. Like so. And as you can see, like, I got some orange on the face a little bit, but that's fine. That's fixable. Been a hot minute since I painted one of these guys, so naturally I'm going to be making mistakes. But now we get to the really difficult part, painting the underside of the coat, like the actual underside. So you got to get, like, between the legs and everything else. Hold the model upside down. Just to get right up in there. Just go for it. Ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. I really liked visiting Ireland. It was a great time all around. Dublin was alright. Dublin was a city. There were some neat things to see in Dublin. I went to a lot of museums. But what I really liked was when I got out of Dublin and went to Galway. Galway was so pretty. Galway is such a pretty city. You had like a canal running straight through. You had like a big area where you could just walk around. There's no cars. Well, they had that in Dublin too, but it was sort of a different feel to it. Galway didn't feel quite as crowded as Galway. And then, like, once you got out of that area, you had like you had the canal that went straight into the ocean with, like, the seagrass and bright green seagrass and stuff growing in the canal. You had, like, if you walked up the canal instead of going out to the ocean, you saw like fish swimming in and everything, and it was just so pretty. Such a beautiful place. Yeah, this guy's definitely scuffed and is going to need a second pass later. But for the moment, let's see. I think one of the cool things about Galway is there's this lighthouse out on the there's this lighthouse. Can't go see it, but you can see it, but you can't go up to it because it's on an island outcropping from the mainland, and there's a sort of stony bridge thing that you can walk across, and that is really pretty. And it's just fun to walk across. But once you get, like, to the island itself, it's like blocked off with a gate and stuff. No unauthorized access and everything, so you can't actually go in. But it was still really cool to see, nonetheless. Try some Mornfang brown for the pants and the cloak, pants and the sword, rather, and the staff. So a warmer brown this time than the last one. This time we're just going to want to get some of the tinier things like sword, the sheath of the sword rather, which I'm fairly certain that the sword is decorative. Fairly certain it doesn't have any actual use in the game, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And then the pants, brown over the pants. That way when he fails his morale check, nobody knows that he got scared. Let's see what else needs to be brown. The head of the rifle, or the pistol rather. The wooden parts of the pistol, because yes, they still use wooden pistols in Warhammer. They use partly wooden pistols because gotta love that gotta love the fall of technology and everything. Thanks, AI revolution. What else needs to be brown? All right, the staff rod, the rod handle. Brown, like so. Yeah. So, and then that's brown. Actually, we're going to do the cable up here brown as well. Feels a bit weird to have a cable be brown, but I kind of want to just give it a shot. Let's see now. Dibbity dop dop doo. Get that nice in there. Yeah, this guy is looking really scuffed at the moment, I'm not gonna lie. I've just kind of winging it since I haven't painted in a bit, and maybe I should have started with a Space Marine instead of trying to just... Maybe I should start with a Space Marine that I know exactly how to paint rather than winging it with a new guy and new design. A new guy and a new color scheme. After having taken a break for a while. But that is looking nice-ish. Gonna need to clean up the green, and gonna need to clean up the coat and the stuff, the mess that the orange made. We're gonna swap paintbrushes now, because we're getting into the really fine and gritty details of everything. So now we're gonna, after we clean off the brush, because you always want to clean off your brush. Don't not clean off your brush. Cleaning off your brush is the most important bit. It's how you keep it alive. You want to keep your brushes alive so that way they don't get So that way they keep a fine tip. The tip is the most important point of the brush. The tip isn't good, the rest isn't good. Now we're going to take some brass and just put it on top of some of the other bits to make the silver pop in certain places. So for example, we're going to put it on the crest. Like this little crest thing. Like so. Gonna put brass on the back of the backpack. Yeah, I'm being kind of lazy with this guy, if I'm going to be honest. I'm slapping colors on parts that really don't need that color, slash probably should be a different one. I don't feel like differentiating them too much at the moment, so I'm not going to. So we want to put brass on the edge of the sword, on the bottom of the sword sheath. And this is where we get really intricate. Carefully get that little bit right there. Carefully catch the little detail without getting too much of it on the sheet scabbard itself. Like so, you see? See how we managed to do that? Not sure if you can see that or not. But oh well. Just carefully catching the details without catching the base of the silver. That's the trick. And I know it doesn't really pop out much at the moment. Believe you me, once you get, once we add the magic ingredient, oh boy, is it gonna shine. Is the brass just gonna is the difference between the brass and the silver gonna shine? All right. And we'll get the little skull, the hammer thing down here. Make that brass. There's some more on there. Don't quite have enough for it and everything else. Catch the little bits of the gun. That are going to be brass. Not the whole gun, just tiny parts of it. Just parts. And then we get the little shoulder pad, the top shoulder pad, not the bottom one, just the top one. Just the top. Want to make it pop out from the one underneath it. And we're going to need to go back and do some corrective work afterwards, but that's fine for now. Little ring on the gun as well. Oh, forgot to get the little arm thing of the little arm bit of this dude. So we need to do that, and then we need to get the skull, which the skull is going to be a fun thing. More ghast bone is what we want. So now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup and such. Get the little arm underneath here. Pick that up. Like so. So that way it doesn't just stand out as being gray nothingness. A void of color. Around that. Get a little bit of that down there. That up. Okay, next, gonna wanna do the skull. So take some nice bone. Throw that on there. Morghast skull is like one of my favorite bone paints because it just goes on so nicely and looks so good. Get that bit over there. So then that, and then down some to there. Just a tiny bit, but tiny bit is just enough to make it work. Let that sit for a minute. Then we'll come back to it. And in the meantime, fix up some of the green on the coat. The coat got scuffed. Right there. Right at this edge. So we want to get like the edge of the coat to be green. Not orange. Takes a bit of careful work. But it is doable. Like so. Yep. Okay. And now for what's going to be the last bit for today, because I feel like I should definitely brush up on my skills before coming back to tackle the rest of this dude. We are going to do the one thing, the one secret technique that painters don't want to tell you. That's a joke, by the way. There is a technique to get these models from okay, especially the silvery bit, the metallic bits, from all right to phenomenal. And that technique is this stuff right here. Nuln oil is what it's called. And it makes things look fabulous. It's a shade paint. Now what that means is, rather than being solid paint, it's basically just a flat out ink that you throw on. And what's so great about that is that it just gets into all the nice little recesses and darkens them without really getting into the main bits much. Without really discoloring the main bits. And so it makes the shadows pop. It creates artificial shadows, basically, is what it does. And it just makes the whole thing just pop. Nice. Like so. Grab some more Nuln oil. Throw it on all the metal bits. Just to make sure that it sinks in nice, evenly. Gets into all those nice little cracks and recesses. Got it. Shades are a lifesaver and a half for taking even the most mediocre of works and making them look amazing. Like this one. Makes it go flat from 3D, even though it was already 3D. But it makes the shadows go pop, pop, pippity, pop, pop. Right. And then can you like see the difference there in like the shading and stuff? How like the metal bits stand out so much more. That's what we like to see. And then there's one last shade that we're going to do today, whatever time of day it is for you. Where is it? Seraph's going to take Sepia. And then we're going to throw the Sepia on the skull. Actually, hold on a second. I didn't throw enough Nuln oil on the arm here. There we go. Now we throw the Sepia on. Just a bit. Onto the skull to make it sink into the recesses and make the skull nice and scully. Rather than just... Actually, we'll throw some on the arm too while we're at it. make this arm look oily and kind of gross. Like a yellowish oil rather than a standard, like, just looking thing. Same with the leg too, while we're at it. Just go ahead and throw that on there as well. Yeah, so I'll just wash that off now. Let that sit for a second. All right, and there you go. Let me actually take this off thing for a second. Just get a nice look at him. Not the greatest first go, but it still looks pretty good. Haven't done all the fine details quite yet. But I think we'll call it there and come back to the sky later once I've brushed up on my actual, like, painting skills and such. Because right now he's kind of just eh. Alright then, and then we'll just give it another go in the light. And so once I've brushed up on my skills some with some lesser dudes, we'll come back and do the rest of the fine details on the sky. So then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Thank you, my lovely audience, for coming to watch me do a painting stream. There will be many, many more of these in the future. Thank you, take care, and bye-bye!